I'm looking for someone.
What if Westworld survived the apocalypse, stole a Pip-Boy, and developed a crippling addiction to buff out? Yeah, that's Fallout Season 2. It's been a few days, and I've been mulling over, I've been marinating in the spectacularness that is Fallout Season 2. Season 1 introduced us to the wasteland. Season 2 said, cool, now let's emotionally ruin everyone. The tone is darker, meaner, somehow funnier, and is extremely on brand for a franchise where cheery 1950s music plays while society beats on a Mr. Handy robot. It's the natural extension of everything that happened at the end of Season 1. Season 2, the budget is bigger, the wasteland is meaner, and somehow everyone is even more. The wasteland is meaner. Season 2, the budget is bigger, the wasteland is meaner, and somehow everyone is even more traumatized. But before I dive deep into my review of Season 2 of Fallout, if I could quickly ask you to take a moment to like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. It really helps a Brotherhood of Steel out, and it goes a long way. Let's crack open a fresh Nuka-Cola, grab your Radaway, and smash that like button. It's time to talk about Fallout Season 2.
What's Plan C?
You just let us go. And we keep the caps you gave me. Which, to be clear, we do need for our survival. And just to ask the question, would it help if I said please?
Season 2 is about power, who controls it, who lies about it, and who gets crushed under it, while a cheerful jingle by the Ink Spots plays in the background, which is extremely Fallout.
Yes, you can touch things.
Season 2 continues immediately from the first season. Lucy starts the season trying to believe there's a right way to survive the wasteland, but by the end, she's not so much broken, but she's no longer asking for permission from her conscience to do whatever it is she needs to do.
It's a lot of violence.
The story doesn't rush her transformation. It lets the wasteland grind her ideals down naturally, which makes every compromise hurt just enough to matter. This isn't a hero becomes edgy arc, it's a hero learns the system is rigged arc.
Okie dokie.
And as usual, the scene-stealing Ghoul storyline in Season 2 quietly steals the show. His past keeps bleeding into the present. The story makes it clear that surviving the apocalypse isn't winning, it's just lasting longer than everybody else. And he's lasted for 200 years, so he's doing pretty good. Every flashback with Cooper adds deeper context without excuses. He's not redeemed, he's explained, which is way more Fallout. Some new details about how integral he is with everything that's happened to make the world turn into apocalypse. And then we get to Maximus, who has the most interesting story arc in the entire season. After being introduced in Season 1 as somewhat of a gray character, he's not all that good, and he's definitely not all that ugly, but he's definitely in the middle of Lucy and the Ghoul in terms of morality.
Unless I can stop it.
And Season 2 uses him at the Brotherhood exactly how Fallout always has. A faction that believes control equals salvation. Maximus begins Season 2 being very disillusioned with the Brotherhood of Steel. Gradually he finds the strength to leave and go on his own and learn more about himself. But the story here with him isn't about evil villains twisting mustaches. It's about people who think they're right, wearing power armor and refusing to question the damage they cause. Brotherhood of Steel genuinely believes they're the good guys, which is what makes it more terrifying.
Welcome to the Brotherhood of Steel.
Finally pulls back the curtain on Vault-Tec's long game, and we learn, in reality, everything that's happening is being controlled by the Enclave. And Robert House, of course, is a huge part of that. We get an introduction to Robert House immediately at the beginning of episode 1. And he was a character that we obviously knew was going to be in the show based on the trailers. And Justin Theroux does an excellent performance of being quietly, subtly violent with just a word and a nod. The story makes one thing painfully clear. The apocalypse didn't happen to humanity, it was done by it.
When the bombs fall, most shelters will provide minimal protection.
Every reveal feels corporate, clinical, and intentional. No cackling villains. House isn't a cackling villain. He just sends memos, experiments, and acceptable losses. And that's slightly more unsettling than any Deathclaw chewing the face off of another Deathclaw. The smartest thing Season 2 does is trust the audience. It doesn't over-explain, it doesn't pause for lore lectures, it lets silence, framing, and consequences do the work. The story understands that Fallout isn't about the bombs, it's about the people built afterward and who get sacrificed along the way. And then we have Hank, whose storyline is actually legitimately upsetting when we truly see who Hank really is. He was the shining pinnacle of the perfect father in Season 1, which they set him up to be. As the season continues on, we learn more and more about Hank, and learning that even though he truly believes he's doing the right thing, as most evil people do, they think they're doing the right thing. And just like the overall theme of not just the show, but the Fallout series in general, the theme of morality, and Hank truly believes he's doing the right thing, and on some level, he does have a point.
Try again.
The storyline heavily features the New Vegas Strip, including locations like Lucky 38, Gomorrah, Vault 21, and the King Imitation School.
All the posters just referred to him as the King.
Lucy and Ghoul become the unlikely duo as they hunt Hank down, navigating the dangerous Vegas environment and facing hazards. Maximum rises above the Brotherhood of Steel, navigating internal power struggles, including the influence of Elder Quintus.
Does that seem fair to you?
The season explores the aftermath of the first season with themes of factionalism and the personal toll of survival in a post-apocalyptic world.
Well then, you're gonna need friends.
The power armor clanks like it should, loud, terrifying, and impractical indoors. Terminals straight from the game stare at you with their green and black glow. Pre-war ads that feel ripped from a loading screen hit you in the face, and that lingering shot of Nuka-Cola and sunset sarsaparilla like it's sacred scripture. Season 2's biggest lore flex was bringing New Vegas into live action, specifically Freeside and the Strip. These locations were lifted straight from Fallout New Vegas, a semi-civilized oasis built on pre-war access, neon, and moral rot. The show nails the core idea. Order somewhat exists here, but it's artificial and fragile, operates on power, deals, and leverage, not morality, and reinforces the Fallout theme that civilization is just organized violence. The ghost of Robert House hangs over everything. His philosophy, stability at any cost, is baked into how New Vegas operates. The show smartly treats him as a myth, a system, and a warning. Season 2 finally treats the new California Republic as what it truly is in the games. Not heroes, not villains. Failed Republic wearing a flag of a bear. NCR themes are pulled directly from the games. Bureaucracy over humanity, expansion stretched too thin, military power without moral clarity. The show expertly uses NCR lore to display how pre-war America never really died, how democracy can rot just as badly as dictatorship, and why people in the wasteland don't trust flags anymore. This is peak Fallout 2 and New Vegas energy. The real villain being the Enclave, classic Fallout lore. Season 2 doubles down on the long-time truth fans already knew. Vault-Tec and the Enclave was never about saving humanity. The experiments were social manipulation, controlled suffering, and psychological testing disguised as safety.
The greater your strength, the greater the impact.
This is expanded on by showing the long-term consequences of Vault experiments, making clear that the survivors weren't lucky, they were test results.
How will you make sense of it all?
The wasteland is the experiment, not the vaults. This lines up perfectly with Fallout 1 2 and some of the darker vaults from Fallout 3. This season leans into the West Coast version of the Brotherhood, not the shinier East Coast version. They're technology hoarders, not saviors. Religious reverence for pre-war weapons. The fear of humanity repeating its mistakes, so going to any lengths necessary to fix that. The show portrays them as militaristic, dogmatic, but slowly becoming obsolete, which is extremely accurate to their portrayal in New Vegas. They're not so much as evil as they're stuck in the past, and the wasteland is moving on.
Doesn't matter.
They use remnants of the US government lore, pre-war elites who believed they deserved the future, who are obsessed with purity and control. This season treats them like a lurking shadow, implies that they never fully disappeared, and reinforces the idea that the worst monsters survived comfortably underground. This mirrors the Fallout 2 game almost perfectly. Season 2 refines how ghouls work without retconning them. The ghouls' rules: radiation-induced mutation, extended lifespan, gradual mental decay. Unless you're the ghoul and you have the drugs to keep that from happening.
Well, maybe not.
Emphasizes their social discrimination, the fear of going evil, the psychological toll of immortality. This is classic Fallout Ghoul tragedy, handled with way more empathy than most adaptations. It's the most lore-faithful video game adaptation yet. Not because it directly copies quests, but it just understands the basics, that power corrupts, civilization lies, and humanity never learns. It doesn't just use it, it believes in it. The core of Fallout is the moral choice philosophy. More than any specific faction, Season 2 embraces Fallout's true core lore. There are no good endings, only less terrible ones. Every major conflict reflects New Vegas' faction dilemma. Fallout 2's political cynicism. No one wins clean. Every solution creates another problem, and the past always come back. Lucy's role as the Vault Dweller, the moral compass, but she's slowly losing her optimism. She starts the season 2 thinking, surely people can still be good, right? By the end of the season, she's like, okay, but what if they're not though? But she still holds true to believing in helping people. She's still haunted by the lies of Vault-Tec and her dad, and she now understands that kindness can have body count. Her arc went from golden retriever to battle-hardened survivor, and her new wasteland trait accidentally becoming the leader. Maximus is a Brotherhood knight that has a crisis of faith and is one bad decision away from disaster. Maximus spends Season 2 asking the big questions like, is the Brotherhood actually good? Am I the problem? Why does everyone around me keep dying? He wants purpose, he wants meaning, but mostly gets trauma. His arc goes from blind loyalty, deep confusion, to existential dread. His wasteland trait is now falling upward. Maximus went from being the most annoying wishy-washy character to being the most interesting character in Season 2, with his dramatic arc from disillusioned Brotherhood of Steel superstar to ending the season with a very strong likelihood that he's going to become a member of the NCR. Him and Lucy are going to be involved in the oncoming war between the NCR and Caesar's Legion that's going to take place in New Vegas.
Maybe before things escalate here.
Ghoul / Cooper Howard cowboy anti-hero with walking PTSD and Fallout's coolest tragedy. Season 2 lets Cooper cook, and by cook, we mean emotionally unravel. Living forever can definitely take a toll on someone. He remembers everything, hates everyone equally. Cooper is basically a pre-war celebrity trapped in a post-war nightmare that with perfect aim and zero patience. His character arc goes from I've seen worse to actually no, this is still worse. But at least he ends the season knowing that his wife and daughter are still alive. His wasteland trait, being right, but still being bitter about it.
My little sugar bomb.
Hank is the Vault Overseer / corporate liar / worst data war finalist. He continues to prove that Vault-Tec did not hire a therapist. Being calm does not mean being right. He's reframed from a misguided dad to, oh, you're the guy that did that. His character arc went from protective parent to ideological extremist, who's weaponized rationalization.
As I know everything.
Robert House is the immoral capitalist wizard and CEO of I Told You So. He's proof that billionaires will survive the apocalypse, and they will be annoying about it.
Capitalism.
Season 2 treats House less like a man and more like an operating system that's running all of New Vegas. He truly believes that order is better than freedom, trusts math more than people, and is absolutely convinced he's the smartest person in every room. And the annoying part is he usually is. Character arc, man, myth, algorithm, turning humanity into a spreadsheet.
Chaos is easy.
Lucy's brother, Norm, the vault detective, quiet MVP, and the I know too much guy. Norm is what happens when a vault kid decides to actually read the fine print. He doesn't have the optimism of Lucy. He doesn't have Hank's delusions. He has actual receipts. Season 2 turns Norm into the show's most dangerous character because he asks questions and refuses to stop. His character are curious, suspicious, actively terrified, with pattern recognition as his main survival skill. It's just too bad there wasn't enough Norm. I enjoy watching his arc and watching him grow as a character. Probably had about a half an hour of actual screen time.
Is there anything remotely actionable?
Ever lovely Stephanie, the Vault-Tec middle management who's a smiling knife. She's terrifying because she's not a villain. She's a process. Calm, polite, absolutely complicit. Season 2 makes it clear. People like Stephanie are how Vault-Tec worked at all. She went from slightly helpful overseer to a moral void. She follows protocol of the Enclave to the grave.
He's got a gun?
Thaddeus is the Brotherhood punching bag and human stress test. He exists to answer one question. How many bad things can happen to one guy? Bullied, used, mutated, still showing up. Character arc, comic relief, body horror, existential dread. But he refuses to die just out of spite. Chet's the vault survivalist, coward with excellent instincts that he takes too long to act upon. Chet doesn't want to be a hero, he just wants to be alive. But he understands danger immediately, reacts appropriately by leaving, and somehow keeps surviving. Season 2 quietly confirms Chet's philosophy is valid. If it's scary, go the other way. Character arc, nervous, justified, still nervous. His fight or flight is permanently set to flight. Bonus character goes to the wasteland itself. The final boss, the unpaid therapist. Season 2 treats the wasteland like an active character. It punishes arrogance, rewards adaptability, but doesn't give a lick about your backstory. Character arc, still broken, still dangerous, and yet still undefeated. Season 2's characters work because nobody is safe from change, especially their own beliefs. Everyone starts with a philosophy, and everyone ends with scars. That's Fallout.
Vault-Tec.
And a double special secret consolation prize to Vault-Tec / the Enclave. Because yes, it counts. They're the real villain, but capitalism with a smile. Vault-Tec isn't just a character, but Season 2 treats it like one. It shows up in flashbacks, ruins lives decades later, refuses to die. Character arc, saving humanity to actively ruining it. Wasteland trait, long-term gaslighting.
You probably just tell me to shut the fudge up.
Fallout is the absolute new standard for video game adaptations for television. The throne once was held by The Last of Us Season 1, as the first season of that show is pretty much immaculate. And we're not even going to get into Season 2.
Let's go!
Fallout just continues the perfection, the incredible production level, detail, the lore, the constant connection of the lore into all the games, not just using one particular game, using the designs of Fallout 4, but stories from Fallout 2 and 3 and New Vegas. The wizardry they're able to put on screen here with their writing and how they're able to use lore from every single game in a specific way, the new standard on how you adapt a game series, not just one particular game, to go from game to screen, like The Last of Us. The first season was just game 1. And Season 2 was the first half of game 2. But here in Fallout, when you have so many different games to get lore from, the way they're able to masterfully mix and match parts from games, the incredible eye for detail and the production value, absolute brilliant quality of their digital effects. I'd say at this moment, Prime are on par or even exceeding HBO in terms of production quality. HBO is the cream of the crop, and Prime, as far as I'm concerned, not just with this show, but also with The Boys. Boys is an awesome show. I love The Boys. Prime has a lot of really high quality shows.
Do you know what makes you special?
If my glasses were any more rose-colored, they'd be on sale in a Valentine's Day shop. But how can you deny that this show just isn't perfect in terms of how it could translate multiple games into one cohesive story, right? Such excellently deep characters. To Walton Goggins and his performance of the Ghoul absolutely chews up every single scene he's in. You just can't take your eyes off him. How Walton was able to make this character so unique and interesting, and Walton is able to give the Ghoul the humanity. Internal goal as a character is to regain his humanity, while his external goal is to find his wife and kid. And Walton just massively displays it on screen when he's playing Cooper Howard. But let's all be honest, he's way more interesting to look at when he's the Ghoul.
Acting!
Ella Purnell is Lucy. She started off this season with her somewhat optimism she had left from season 1, but now season 2 and it started to drop. But her performance was just as great as last season. Aaron Morton in the first season as an actor. I thought Aaron Morton was a great actor right away. His character was written in such a way that they wanted you to not like him. And it really isn't until season 2 where you start to really kind of like him. But as an actor, Morton was always good. Kyle MacLanahan really stole the show in some of his scenes. We only got to see a little bit of him in season 1. So seeing him, his performance was excellent. He's so menacing without having to do anything. He's friendly and calm, but behind his eyes there's just something going on there, and how actors are able to portray stuff like that continues to amaze me. And then Mr. Justin Theroux, whose performance is equally terrifying, but he was also excellent in his character playing Mr. Robert House. Even this house we're seeing isn't the actual Robert House. I don't agree with that theory. I think that's the real Robert House. And the one we see publicly is his double for in case anyone goes out to try to assassinate him.
Everyone works for me eventually.
His candor, his cadence of the way he kind of talks very sophisticatedly, but at the same time, he just feels threatening the entire time.
I'm actually kind of new to all this Ghoul stuff.
John Pemberton, who as an actor I always found kind of irritating. Why do people like this person? Why do they think they're funny? But Thaddeus was way funnier this season, way more likable, ironically, now that he's been turning into, I believe it could be a super mutant. Other people are theorizing it could be a centaur or something else. And with the little mouth thing on his neck, it's possible that it might not be a super mutant, because super mutants don't have mouths on their neck last time I checked. But Johnny Pemberton was way more enjoyable this season and not as annoying as he was last season, which I'm sure is intentional, that they're intentionally setting up characters a certain way and then making you like them later on, which is the exact opposite of what they did with Stephanie. They made her likable early on in season 1, but we saw pretty quick that she's not as nice as she looks, and in this season, she just went full on super villain. Stephanie is just dead inside. She has no feelings, no empathy. She didn't even name her baby, and now Chet, who's too much of a pussy to do anything, at the same time, he stood up to take care of her baby, considering that she doesn't seem to give a ish about her baby at all. So he gets props for that, but he does have his balls in a vice. Though he eventually grows a pair near the end of the season. She was denying water from the other vaults. She got rid of Woody for when he was asking questions and talking to her about seeing the secret conversation with Eddie. Woody goes missing. Maybe he's dead, maybe he's still alive. Unfortunately, he might be dead, but considering that actor Zach Cherry is busy on Severance, maybe he doesn't have time to do Fallout anymore.
Look at you, all dewy mouth.
I was constantly wishing for more Norm this season. They set him up to be a coward in season 1, and unfortunately, he still has some of that cowardice that we saw later in the scene with all the rad roaches. He's not really a fighter. He's more of a thinker. He always sees what's going on and sees things other people see, but he's also very quick, very crafty, witted. When he unthawed all those young executives, he knew that it would just make sense to pretend to be some type of Vault-Tec employee, so they would listen to him and then give them fake incentives by giving them tiny little circular band-aids and telling them they're merit dots. That's just how smart Norm is that he could pick up immediately that that's what these kids thrive on. He just knew immediately. They like getting pats on the back and gold stars. The way the season ended with him, perhaps we could be seeing way more, as it looks like he's about to go on a long journey.
Let's get you home.